What's going on? This is about to be part two of our pre-draft NFL draft breakdown ahead of Thursday's draft from Cover 3 Media. Just want to point out this was filmed Sunday, so this is before the Packers officially made the Aaron Rodgers trade. But our takes on the Packers, what we think they should do, remains the same. Hope you guys enjoy it. Talk about the Bears, Packers, what they should do, and some of our favorite landing spots, possibilities for some of these draft prospects. Again, we're posting stuff every day about the draft. Leave comments. We're here to help you guys out and help you win championships.
Okay. All right, Christian. So me and Adam, Packer fans, probably seen it on C3M, but we got Christian's a Bears fan. So you guys made the crazy trade and moved on from 1 to 9. So what the hell do you want them to do? What's your dream scenario or the most realistic? Whatever you want to kind of dive into.
Yeah, I mean, it's really tough. Like dream scenario, the guy we were going to take at one, Jalen Carter, falls to you at nine. Let's be realistic here. If anyone has their head screwed on straight and people want to talk about his character, this and that, but the alleged, come on, is he Laramie Tunseling himself a little bit and making his draft stock fall? Yeah, but at the end of the day, how many NFL teams honestly care about the crime at all? Zero. you know, it's crappy to say, but it's just a reality. This guy's gonna end up being a beast on whoever gets him as a snag. He just has to fit your team's attitude. And if a team, which a lot of NFL teams do believe that he would fit in personality wise and they'd be able to help him mature, as college grad going to be an adult, like when he's our age, man, people make mistakes at the end of the day. So he's not falling to nine. With that said, I do have a few ideas. One, I mean, everyone's most popular thing is take a left tackle, take Paris Johnson Jr. because he went to Ohio State, the Justin Fields connection, this and that. I'm going to go on a limb here and say that neither Skronsky from Northwestern nor Paris Johnson Jr. is the best tackle in this class. I actually think it's Wright out of Tennessee, but he's a right tackle. Now, the Bears could also use a right tackle, but they shouldn't take him at nine. Now, there's going to be a few teams that might want to move up in this draft, whether it's to jump ahead of the Eagles to draft Bijan, if they have any inkling that he's going to do that, if they're going to do that, or if it's something else. I think the Bears have an opportunity to trade down again to the mid-teens. Maybe, just maybe, a team trades with Philadelphia. They trade up to 10 to go get Will Levis. Maybe the Commanders want to jump ahead of them. Maybe the Vikings do. Who knows? There's going to be a lot going on draft day. My dream scenario would be that someone wants to move up ahead of whoever has number 10 at the time to, distract from either Will Levis, who might have fallen, or Bijan Robinson, who might be going earlier than he should be. Not that he's not one of the best players, but it's the running back position in the NFL. If they can move back to the late teens and take Darnold right there, I think he's going to be the best tackle overall. I think he's got a chance to be a Hall of Fame tackle. And him being on the right side would cater to Justin Fields just a little more, actually. And I think that would be probably the best scenario for our team. Now, I can go with the sexy pick here and say draft Bijan just straight up. They do that, the RPO is insane. You can't run an RPO without an offensive line. So, with that, I think we do have to go towards that and maybe look towards maybe a second or third round running back where there's still plenty of talent in that pool.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I think about JSN because I think he's going to be, again, one of those top players in the NFL in the next year. But one thing with JSN is we do have kind of a solidified three guys right now, and we could get another guy in the second round that ends up being just as good, if not equal or better. You just don't know. There's a few dark horses, as Adam loves, Josh Downs. I don't know if it would be the smartest pick at 9 without trading down maybe to at least, I don't know, like 14 to make sure the Packers don't take JSN and snag him right before and get a little extra value. So that would be my dream scenario.
Yeah, I mean, I think for sure, like as a Packer fan, I mean, the Bears obviously like they could easily take Bijan or JSN there, which would be like a sexy pick, but they just added DJ Moore. They do need a running back. I mean, I don't know if they're going to be starting Khalil Herbert. I don't think they will. So, and it is like
Yeah,
a
they will
deeper
be.
running back class that they could get one in the third round that could compete right away. So they need O-line bad, and they need defensive leadership and something to build around. So if I were them, that's definitely what I would do. So
Yep.
going to the Packers now, Adam. Who the hell do you want us to take? You're on
Adam,
mute, Adam.
It's tough because when I break down our team and what we need, I do feel like either one, we're drafting for future needs, which could be safety, or we're trying to revamp our offensive line a little bit, get a little bit more depth going, or we're trying to help out our quarterback, whoever it is, for the passing game. So it is tough. Also considering what the depth of this class looks like and who we could be getting in later rounds, who might be falling later, and who could come in and be good production. Now, would JSN or a guy like Quentin Johnson at that earlier mid first round pick, would that be really nice? Yeah. But we also got to consider what's available when, and if it is one of those cases where one of these top tier defensive talents is going to be available at our first pick but not our second pick, I do feel like we might have to run with that. Personally, I don't know. I don't really think I want a tight end at that pick. I think it's just too early just to be taking a tight end.
It's a deep class.
What's that?
It's a deep class, so.
Deep class, yeah. Do I think? I don't know.
Get a third round tight end.
You could. I mean, I don't know what kind of quality tight end we get in the second round. I really don't know what the draft's gonna look like, but I just don't think. Personally, I just don't think the tight ends in this class. I don't know if I want to spend my first round pick on that. I feel like we either get a wide receiver who can be a more like JSN, who can be a more of an immediate impact player, and who might have a longer, more dominant career than a tight end that we have to maybe wait a couple years for him to develop and really get that true impact. I feel like it could be a situation like T.J. Hawkinson or those guys who've been drafted early, and you get a good tight end, but again, I just feel like T.J. Hawkinson's value for his whole career, or some of the other wide receivers have been drafted in the first round and their value for their whole career, and I'd rather have that, honestly. So I'd rather go with a wide receiver there, like I said, or maybe a defensive player. I could even see us maybe, even trading back. I'm not gonna lie, I could see us trading back a few picks, and then I would consider taking a tight end at that spot, and also accumulating a little bit more draft capital. So I really don't know outside of that what would look good on our team.
Your holes aren't necessarily on that team super big. Mm-hmm. I do think tight end would be early. I think that should be a lock for what your like a second round pick should be for you guys. One thing I would pose a question to you is: assume Aaron Rodgers is traded to the Jets. What do you want at that pick?
At 15.
What do you want at that pick? At 15, assume that you get the Jets pick. What are you looking at in the first round?
Assume that we get the Jets first round pick.
Yeah, assume that because I believe that's what the Packers are holding out on, is they want that pick.
They want that, or they want their second this year and their first next year.
A first next year, exactly. So assume scenario, draft day comes, the guy that the Jets want was either taken, so they trade Aaron Rodgers to that pick.
So we had back-to-back picks.
I will say, if we got to the 13th pick,
13.
I genuinely would consider if we could get. I don't know who we take first. I think honestly, if one of the higher end tackles are there, I think we honestly take a tackle, just for the sake of Jordan Love's future, and to try to ensure that we're really building up that offensive line for his early career when he's developing. But that is if we have two picks and we have that type of draft capital. But if it is down to one pick and we gotta make the best overall pick, then I don't think we're taking a lineman like that. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, Devin.
I mean, JSN would probably be available there.
Yeah, I mean,
he would be.
The way I look at it for the Packers, I mean, I wrote an article myself, and I want them to take JSN at 15. Do I think they will? Probably not, because it's the Packers. But it would be pretty funny if they trade Aaron Rodgers and then they get a receiver first round the first year they don't have him, which would be pretty funny.
That would be.
I do think we really need a tight end bad, personally. Like, our starting tight end right now is Josiah Deguara probably, and he's not even a tight end really. He's like an H-back, so we need a tight end bad in this draft. Like I don't want one at 14 either. I do like some of these tight ends. Like I do like Dalton Kincaid as like a receiving weapon. I do like Sam Laporta and out of Iowa, who could be a little bit of all-around tight end. But I think we could get a guy like Darnell Washington or this Laporta guy from Iowa in the second round. First round, I mean, I just think like our defense. I know everyone kind of hyped up that was supposed to be good, and it didn't really pan out that way. But I mean, I don't know who the hell is going to really fall there for defense that we could take. If Nolan Smith is there, I wouldn't be. I would actually be pretty excited about that at 14, uh, or at
What
15.
about
At
Brian
15,
Branch? We haven't talked about him.
I
mean,
like him.
He's another Bama D-back. I mean, works out in the NFL usually.
I like him. I'm just a little. I've heard just kind of like he's kind of fallen down a little bit because I think they thought he could play more than he can. Like he's supposed to be more versatile. And I'm not saying I wouldn't want him. Like I wouldn't be. I'm like not gonna be mad if we take him, but it's just gonna be tough if JSN is on the board like still and we don't take him.
You should be taking JSN
if he's there.
before
But
Ryan
there's
Branch.
still a really good chance he actually gets taken before, and that's why if somehow we do get the 13th pick from the Jets, we need to take him there because the Patriots. I know they signed Juju, but I could see them maybe taking him. Might ruin his career a little bit, but
Also, a little rewind. I mean, we haven't talked about it at all, and I kind of feel guilty about it. The Tennessee Titans very well could move up.
yeah, they could get a quarterback. They could maybe they are the ones that fall in love with Will Levis. Who knows?
I could see them being the one that falls in love with Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
I mean, they loved Malik Willis because of his athleticism, his deep ball, and like what they loved out of Malik Willis is like Anthony Richardson, but he actually has those skill sets. You know?
I mean, you talked about Christian DK and Anthony Richardson in the weight room. Derrick Henry. Anthony Richardson.
Well, assuming he's on the team still, I mean, I don't know.
I think if they made a
that's
move
cool.
like that, he would.
Yeah, that RPO man would be insane. I mean, imagine the defense trying to stack up against Derrick Henry, and then they realize that that Anthony Richardson pulled the ball and running the other direction.
I mean, I just think, especially the AFC, dude. I think that's why I'm saying. It's just like the quarterback like room in the AFC is so damn good that like you have to take a chance on some of these guys. Like that's why like the Colts and Raiders, for example, they need to try taking one of these guys. I know you could wait out for Caleb Williams, but do I expect the Colts to be that bad next year? I mean, maybe, but Raiders, yeah. I just think you need to like address that quarterback position if you want a chance in the AFC.
What do you
NFC is
think
different.
Derrick Henry's price tag is?
Not a first, unfortunately, just because of age.
Yeah. So say this. I think I have like 2 or 3 teams that trade for Derrick Henry, and honestly, domination. Obviously, number one, the Cowboys. He goes to the Cowboys. I mean, it's set in stone. They're going to dominate. But 2 other teams that I would be like, holy shit, if he went to that team. First one, Miami. Obviously, they ever get a good running back with that team. Derrick Henry and like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, that'd be horrifying. You know, it wouldn't matter if you had Tua or if you had Skylar Thompson behind. But the other one, imagine if you went to the Bengals, like they said, Joe Mixon, you're a terrible person. You have all these, beaten women cases. We're done with you. We're cutting you. And they had Derrick Henry behind. Oh my God.
I feel like all this. To be honest, I just feel like all this stuff's smoke. I feel like he's still going to be there personally.
Probably will, but I'm just saying.
I do think they need to adapt a little bit because obviously, like, they just run their offense through him and it has worked. But like, I just think the way that the NFL's moving, I think they should try to get a guy like Anthony Richardson to make their offense more dynamic. They can still completely lean on the running game like they do, but that adds another dimension, which I think what they thought maybe Malik Willis could turn into. But I mean, I don't want to write the guy off, but he looked pretty damn bad. I'll be honest.
I'm gonna write him off. He's written off officially by me. Malik Willis, you've been written off. You have no draft capital invested in you. There's the next 2 seasons. There's about, I would make a list of probably 13, 14 guys that are better quarterback than you that they can take in the draft, and they will do it at some point because you are not that good. I would probably honestly sign Carson Wentz to start over you. That's how bad I think you are. And at the end of the day, he needs to be put at a certain level. You played at Liberty, bro. Why do you think you played there?
Dude, can we just talk about it? I just feel like Will Levis is going to be like Carson Wentz, like how he is now.
I could see it.
They play so similar.
Jeez.
They play like
I
they're a
see it just being like
linebacker.
Kirk Cousins.
They
I
just
see
play
Kirk
like they're
Cousins.
linebackers. That's what I think the problem is.
I totally get what you're saying there, and like, yes, completely. I mean, you have him. I don't see him being better. Like, seriously, like his ceiling is like Kirk Cousins, like on a primetime game.
Yeah.
Which means he's not gonna be good.
Was there anything else you wanted to add about Derrick Henry, Adam?
I don't know. I mean, I think he would look sexy on a lot of teams. I'm not gonna lie. I think a lot of teams could utilize like such a dominant running back, but
Yeah, like the Bears, that'd be
not
pretty
really.
hot.
But yeah, I don't know what the Titans are gonna do, to be honest with you. I mean, they could pull a fast one like they did with AJ Brown and trade Derrick Henry during the draft if they want a player if they want a player really badly and they want to go get him and move on from Derrick Henry. I could see them doing that. I could also see them keeping Derrick Henry and doing something else to get a player that they need. But I genuinely think that, like, if I really break down their team, yeah, they have a pretty respectable defense, but outside of that, I just feel like they do need that quarterback if they're ever going to really want to compete in the future. Like Devin said, the AFC is pretty dominant. I don't think Derrick Henry's going to get it done. But I am also concerned, like, what kind of price are they going to have to pay to get one of these quarterbacks in this draft that we honestly don't even they might not even be that top 10 quarterback talent. So that's where I just feel like they draft for team needs this year, start getting a team ready for that next step. And maybe they trade Derrick Henry for assets and they just say, hey, we're committing to the rebuild and we're going to get a quarterback that's going to be a franchise guy in the future. But right now we're just going to start building up the offensive line. We're going to start working on some defense players and maybe get another offensive contributor at wide receiver or tight end. So I think that's the best bet.
Imagine, on both sides of things, the Eagles are a popular location for Bijan to be drafted because talent, obviously. But they could use that pick to solidify their offensive line just a little more, or even their defensive line. Honestly, that did take a slight hit in free agency here. They could go either way there, and still trade a second for Derrick Henry. Now Derrick Henry's not being asked to do as much, so he's going to last a little bit longer. Now Derrick Henry's one of those guys that probably actually goes for having like maybe another year or two shelf life to maybe 3, possibly. I don't want to say 4, but like 3 years out of Derrick Henry. They're winning a Super Bowl with that. I think that would guarantee, like him and Jalen Hurts, and you got Devontae Smith and AJ Brown on the outside. What are you doing as a defense to stop that? I genuinely think that they would score every single drive.
It's true. All right, guys, I'm gonna go rapid fire. For some of these top prospects, where the perfect spot would be. You could go off fantasy football or just in general. So first up, you guys, what do you guys think for Bijan?
Cowboys.
I'd say Cowboys or even Vikings. I'm not gonna lie. I think Vikings would be good.
Do you guys think like he actually is gonna like fall a little bit, or do you think someone actually could trade up for him in the draft?
I would hope teams would look at what value of the running backs have been, look at that and realize that there's a really deep class, and I think there's a lot of teams that are going to see that and be like, we really do want Bijan. But there's a reason why he's not being gassed up the way Saquon was, and it's because it's so deep. Teams aren't going to have to jump ahead.
All right, Jahmyr Gibbs.
Cardinals.
Bills.
I think those will be really good spots, to be honest. It's like tough because like I know they got a new coaching staff, but if Cliff Kingsbury was still there, I feel like for Gibbs that would have been even more fucking crazy. But I still think Bills. I'm interested if the Bills do take one because they only really have James Cook, right? They didn't bring anybody else really in. Or no, they brought in Damian Harris. So, I mean, whatever, I guess.
I mean,
replaceable. All right.
Even the Saints, I'm not gonna lie, like with the question marks around Alvin Kamara. Now I know, if he does play, like that's gonna hinder Jahmyr Gibbs a little bit. But I mean, it could be one of those things where Kamara's gone and we got a little Gibbs and Jamal Williams action. Same thing as they had with Kamara and
Mark Ingram. Yeah,
so
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
What about Quentin Johnston?
Best landing spot?
Texans if they draft Bryce Young.
For their team or just for fantasy?
Either way you're looking at it.
If not, the Chargers.
Yeah, I mean, I do kind of like the Patriots. I'm not gonna lie. I think that could look pretty good with Mac Jones. But otherwise, who'd you say again, Christian?
I said Chargers. I mean, you're playing with Herbert. You can't. He's going to need that guy, and I think with Herbert's arm strength, and honestly, you just put him on a fade for a Hail Mary, where they playing a lot of close games in that division. I think that's a really big difference.
Do you guys think the Vikings should look at a guy like Zay Flowers or Josh Downs or Addison in this draft to get another receiver?
I think Jordan Addison, yes, because he's more mature and ready. I think anyone else you put in that scenario is going to need to develop, and they're going to develop into a scenario with Kirk Cousins, who's not going to be their quarterback in the next 2 years.
Here's the thing for me is they got TJ Hawkinson, they got JJ. I get they're losing feeling, but I just think, I know what I said about Bijan Robinson. Do I think they take Bijan? Probably not. I do think that they need to really work on their defense, and I just don't think that they need a first round talent at wide receiver. I think they go for a second or third round talent and just have him as more of a role player. I mean, still a rookie, early career kind of thing. So I don't think they necessarily need immediate impact at the wide receiver position.
There's plenty of guys that could go sign or just like for a little bit. Realistically, just go get Josh Gordon. Seriously, just go get him if you're really that concerned.
Yeah,
he's playing USFL.
I mean, I do think too. Like, I don't know how great he really is, but he's shown flashes. I think even if they didn't draft one until later receiver, I feel like KJ Osborne can be fine as the number 2 receiver since they have Hawkinson.
For this year, yeah, for sure. They're not going to win a Super Bowl with him as number 2, but they're going to address some other needs first.
It helps they have Hawkinson, I will say. So
honestly, I think they're going to take Hendon Hooker in the first round. I think that's a great fit. I think that'd be great for JJ's career.
I don't know if you guys have been seeing, but there's been some rumors that their Vikings are looking at maybe acquiring Trey Lance. Should be interesting.
I did see that. That would be crazy.
I mean, if I were them, like,
would that be a good veteran for some of these teams to pick up?
Yeah, I mean, do I think he's going to be great? I mean, I like him more for fantasy than real life just because of the rushing ability. But, I mean, if I'm a team like the Vikings who are kind of in that middle where like Kirk's, he's good, he's solid, but is he going to get you to that eventual goal that you want? No. With Trey Lance, I'm not saying he would, but I feel like there's more potential. Commanders need to
Kirk Cousins back.
Commanders need to do something, and I'm sorry, if you're rolling with Sam Howell day one, I don't know what the hell you're doing. When you got like a pretty good supporting cast.
Kirk back, I'm saying that'd be kind of crazy.
Yeah, Zooey Mama.
Ooh-wee! Ooh-wee!
Then I was just gonna think, guys. I mean, I'm gonna go first on this one, but just kind of like one guy that could be any position that we think is gonna be a little bit better from like what the mock drafts are kind of viewing them and like where they're going. I mean, personally, for me, have to do it. I'm looking at Will McDonald. This guy played against us in high school, and he's an athletic freak. 34 sacks in college, 10 forced fumbles, including 5 in 2021. So, I mean, I think I've been seeing him go first round. Sometimes I've been seeing him go second round. I just think there's some of these guys that are just really athletic that go into the NFL as edge rushers, and they really can develop into something crazy. I think he could be like a Leonard Floyd guy who, I mean, he's not like insane, but he was good. I think he could be a really high motor guy that can develop into a really like good pass rusher, and it'd be kind of cool since played against this guy, played him basketball and football. But that's a guy I'm kind of looking at that I'm interested to see where he goes.
How was it to block him, Devin?
Huh?
Tell us a little bit. How was it to try to block that mofo?
I mean, I think junior I did very well against him personally, and then senior I could not block him to save my life. So.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting draft because there's a lot of those kind of guys sprinkled in where it's like I do think that there's a ton of quality in this draft. I do feel like there are some players who are being overvalued and other players who are being severely undervalued per usual. So, and it does kind of rest on team need and taking a shot on a guy because you just have to take that chance. Considering your future. So. There will be some good players slipping, and I do feel like that's what I'm saying with wide receivers. Like, if you need that top tier defensive talent, I'd get your hands on it earlier rather than later. So,
where do you think Josh Downs going to go at him? Where do you want him to go?
Man, I think if I can pull this back up again, it's tough because his receiving grades are great and his contested catch rate is insane.
72%.
Yeah, very good metrics. I love the tape. I love what I had to see out of him. Do I think he goes first round? I mean, I think he is first round talent in my books, but I just feel like with all the players out there, defense and other offensive players, I just feel like he might get pushed down the sheets a little bit. So I think best case scenario for me, I think it could look good on the Seattle Seahawks in the early second round, taking over that Tyler Lockett role. I think it could look good.
Just fucking say it. You know the
You
truth.
could look good on the Green Bay Packers.
You know where he's going.
Or even the Patriots 46 overall. I think that could be a very good fit for Mac Jones. But beyond that, man, it's looking for fantasy. There's not a lot of openings for wide receiver where he'd be selected. I'll be honest. Or quarterback play is not looking good at all. Like,
come on, man, just say it. Just say it. He's going the last pick of the first round to Kansas City. Just admit it. It's okay.
If he did, that'd be pretty insane. I do worry about the competition in that locker room. That's for sure.
Here's what I think of. Sky Moore didn't show out. Mm-hmm. He had his chance. He didn't show out. But there's multiple wide receiver spots, even if he does somehow. And Kadarius Toney is going to be injured again for 12 games next year. He's like Kawhi Leonard. He's really good, but he just doesn't want to play that much. He got his bag. He's fine. And he's okay with it. And it makes me upset to say because, honestly, I'm a big Kadarius Toney guy in terms of talent. But if you can't be on the field, you can't be on the field. Now, if I had to choose one person, I mean, he's mentioned Josh Downs. I mean, I think there's going to be one of those second-round tight ends that go that end up being the best tight end in this draft. If it's, whether it's Darnell Washington, who's an athletic freak. I mean, there's a long list of names. I mean, even Zach Evans, I've been pretty high on. As a running back, I think he's going to slip a little bit in the draft. Same with Sean Tucker. Sean Tucker might lose his spot completely to a point where his draft capital is not enough to really solidify him in a role. I think whoever gets drafted to that Cardinals team at running back, whenever they do take one, that's just a dark horse automatically because they made James Conner look good and put up some good fantasy points. I mean, let's be honest, the guy's kind of washed. But if I had to choose one person that's being underrated, it's that dang quarterback out of Ohio State. I'm sorry, he's gonna be good, but it is. I do believe a little bit in Tanner McKee too. I do kind of like Stanford quarterbacks. I do like his stature, his build. I think he's going to be someone who's gonna 110% be drafted in the first 3 rounds, and I think he's going to be put on a team that absolutely does not need a quarterback right away, which is going to give him time to develop. And with that time to develop and his skill set, which is very keen, he's very accurate. With his size, I think that he could develop into something nice if he gets a scenario where he starts. And when I say he might not be anything more than Taylor Heineke, I think at the end of the day, for his value at that position, I think it could be like stealing even Kirk. If you get a starter in those second, third rounds in the NFL, I think that's a really nice pick.
So where do you want Stroud to go then?
Not Stroud. I'm talking about
I know before that though.
But where I want Stroud to go, like I want someone to trade up and take him at number 2. To be honest with you, I don't think the Texans make the most sense, even if they do somehow do him and JSN. I just think that that's an experiment not worth playing. I want him. I like the Raiders a lot, but it's got to be the Colts. I think him and JT would be a pretty awesome duo. Basically, Big Ten All-Star team out there. I mean, it'd be kind of cool to see.
I think too. I do think even though
he is the most.
I think the Raiders would be still a decent spot for Stroud because there's a lot of talent around him on the offense, which should help him. I mean, it should help anyone if they take a quarterback. But is there anything else you guys kind of want to address real quick?
No, everything's good for me.
Yeah, so awesome. Well, appreciate y'all watching. Please give us a like and subscribe at Cover 3 Media. We got ourselves post stuff on TikTok, Instagram every day, here on our YouTube as well. The draft's almost here. We're damn pumped. There'll be so much more content about the draft, your rookie drafts. I'm excited as hell. I mean, I hope the Packers don't do me dirty, don't get my hopes up for somebody, but I'm excited for the draft.
And I hope they do. I hope they do you super dirty. I hope they trade Aaron Rodgers for a 4th-round pick and like I don't know, Donovan McKnight or something.
Jeez.
Any last words, Adam?
No, I'm excited for the draft next week, guys. Stay tuned. We got some good content.
Saddle up, boys.
Saddle up.
Rally caps on. Let's get into it.